We're joined by Vincenzo Scarpetta, who's a policy expert from a research group called Open Europe. He's been looking at how other countries are likely to respond to Mr. Cameron's demands. Thank you very much for coming in. You've brought with you some maps to explain what you found. Let's have a look at the first one, and this is about overall support. Can you take me through what the colours mean and what the countries are saying about this?
Yes, of course. This is to give a general overview of where other EU countries stand and how they're likely to react to the demands of the British Prime Minister. Of course, it's not a quantitative exercise, it's an explanatory one. So we have on this one 4 different colors. So we start from this full green, this dark green, which means the countries are very supportive.
So we see the Scandinavian countries there at the top.
So the Scandinavian countries at the top, but also Ireland and Denmark. We expect them to be very supportive of the UK renegotiation, as well as the Netherlands. Then we go into light green, which means that these countries are sympathetic to UK demands. They're willing to help. They may have some objections, but nothing too
key there. Germany.
So like Germany is key, but also Italy. Italy is actually very interesting because it could be a positive surprise, a helpful ally for David Cameron in this renegotiation. Then we go into yellow. Yellow means 2 things. Either we are not entirely certain about the position because there are some countries such as Greece with so much on its plate that it has been said very little about the renegotiation.
Which are not on their agenda right now. Let's move to the second map. We're looking at Britain wanting continuing free trade. Again, red is not supporting, and there's no red on that map at all.
No, because this is, on paper, this is the easiest part of the renegotiation agenda, because all EU leaders pretty much have been talking a good game about the need to deepen the single market, more free trade with third countries, cutting EU regulation. Now, the question here is more, what can David Cameron achieve on top of what's already being done, what's already happening? And of course some countries may have some specific reservations on some issues. We know that Germany and France on services liberalisation, for example.
Let me just interrupt you there to get in the third map, which is probably the hardest issue.
Yes.
What David Cameron wants to do in terms of reforming welfare for EU migrants that come to this country. Here we clearly see red. We see some Eastern European countries, Poland. Talk me through that.
So we see there is some red in Central and Eastern Europe. We also see quite a bit of orange, which means that these countries also have reservations about the demands. What does it mean? It means the issue here is that a few EU member states are afraid that what David Cameron is trying to do is actually to bury the fundamental principle of free movement, which is not what the UK is trying to do.
No.
We are talking about 2 separate issues here.
Very briefly, would European leaders, most of them, prefer to see Britain staying in the EU or not? Yes or no?
Definitely yes. Definitely yes.
Vincenzo Scarpetta.